Center for Sensitization Against Drug Abuse here in Sokoto, an organization which you established. Can you tell us what the organization is all about?
Thank you very much. The Center for Sensitization Against Drug Abuse is a non-governmental organization formed in 1997 with the following aims and objectives. Number one, design programs that will help people understand the consequences of drug abuse and trafficking. Also to organize activities that will enhance learning and promote a drug-free lifestyle in our schools. And the third major objective is to conduct research and advise policymakers.
How do you intend to achieve these objectives?
Ways in which we intend to achieve these objectives are: one, through sensitization, the general public. This sensitization refers to lectures in schools and public places, use of media, provide coverage. The center has featured in so many live and recorded programs in different radio and TV stations in the states and within the country. Another way is also use of books and our newsletter in order to enlighten the general public on the dangers posed by drug abuse. So these are some of the ways in which we follow in order to achieve our set objectives.
I think that in Sokoto, your organization seems to be the only one that focuses on drug abuse. I don't know if there are other organizations, NGOs, but why the focus on drug abuse?
Well, essentially speaking, our organization is the only organization that even the name will entails what we do.
Yes.
But there are others who are doing well also, of course, who are doing it plus other
Plus other things.
yes.
So
But
your
this center
focus
is
mainly-
specifically on drug abuse. Well, my humble self and my colleagues, whom we have started this for a very long time, we believe that the issue of drug abuse and trafficking in narcotics and psychotropic substance is a global issue. It affects the whole world, Nigeria inclusive. When you come down each and every state, the problem exists. In fact, today, not only in our capital cities, even our towns, villages, and hamlets, the problems have descended to the grassroots. And this problem is empirical. We can see it physically. Therefore, we realize the consequences are posed by drug abuse. So we find it wise for us to come together, form an NGO, help people, enlighten them, so that people will understand the consequences and the sad end of drug abuse.
So when it comes to drug abuse in Sokoto State particularly, especially among the youths, what would be your assessment?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, the problem is everywhere, honestly speaking. Sokoto State inclusive. And today, the number of youth that are involved are many. Now we can see these guys on the streets. But some years back, the issue of drug abuse publicly is something strange, something alien in our state. But with this issue of globalization, the world has become one, and other factors contributing to this. The problem can be seen, honestly speaking. NGOs are doing their best. The NDLEA, who are charged with the responsibility of preventing the sale and use of illegal drugs, are also doing their own at their own end. How is to help? Previous governments and the current one are also doing their best. But the problem is, honestly speaking, the problem is serious, simply because the number of youths, when you look at the population, there are many. In fact, Nigerian population, when you look at it, to give you a shape of a pyramid, the upper one, the upper head are the aged, but the down are the youths. So the population of youth is increasing, not only in Sokoto, the whole country, and youths are most involved. Therefore, you will imagine the number, not only in Sokoto, in every state. So honestly speaking, the problem exists. You can see it physically, but we are doing our best. The government, the ulamas, the malams, are also doing what have you. But the problem is there, and we can see it. So, and something must be done, honestly speaking.
Do you have any idea the reasons why young people are into illicit drugs?
Well, according to commentators on drug abuse, research conducted in the past and the present, also according to newspaper reports, and even empirical evidence, show that there are many factors that are responsible, or in other words, you can call them push factors to drug abuse. Number one is the availability of drugs. When these drug peddlers were able to get these drugs into our cities, towns, and villages, you find people continue to abuse drugs. So number two, peer groups. Those who abuse drugs, the group of youth who abuse drugs do more harm than good, simply because they always try to expand their group by trying to convince their colleagues to join them. And this work they're doing is on daily basis. So peer group influence is another active factor that push youth to drug abuse. I think advancement of science and technology, in my opinion, is also a factor. I mean, the younger ones now have access to handsets, video films, and what have you. Some of them tend to believe on what they watch, and some films are assumptions. So films that shows how drug barons succeeded in life by accumulating wealth, big houses, money, cars, and what have you. So the youth always try to believe what they have seen on the screen. As such, they are tempted to have that desire to become successful in life through those bad ways. So I think this also helps a lot. But what they need to understand is, even through those films, you find that the end result of those drug barons they end up in a total failure. And at the end of the day, most of them are killed by security agents. So, but the youth look at the other side. So it's also another factor that push youth who are most vulnerable to drug abuse.
So what would you say are the effects on
Well,
society?
there are so many effects. Number one, effect on users, and then effect on the other members of the society. Now, this issue of drug abuse, we are all affected but not infected. What I mean here, the question you ask is, how does it affect us? Now let's start with the users. You find that, number one, users always end up in a mess. Now, students become dropouts, workers who abuse drug, at the end of the day, they become dismissed from their working places. Health issues, when you look at those who misuse drug, you find most of them in poverty. They look very wretched, very haggard. Now, another problem that affects the users, now spread of some diseases. For example, HIV/AIDS through intravenous injection, and then STIs, sexually transmitted diseases, and not only through needles. Sometimes those who are under drugs can go for a risk behavior in sex and what have you. So all these are problems that affect the users. And at the end of the day, you find them facing the law. Some of them will be in prison. And then the final destination, some become insane. And then lastly, in fact, some even die as a result of misuse of drugs. So all these are effects on the user. Then the second part of this effect is to the society. Now, one, let us start with the road accident. A driver who abuses drug every day, that can lead to road accident, and many will be injured. Even some may die as a result of a fatal accident. Secondly, street fight. These young men, especially the area boys, you happen to pass nearby where they are having conflict, that can affect you. They may smash your car, they may hit you. All these affect other members of the society who are not misusing the drugs. Some abuse use become thieves. They always look for way out to get money and buy drugs. They can steal. And this affects other members of the society. Family conflict. You find a young man who misuses drug, always in conflict with his father, mother, sisters, brothers, and the neighbors. Can you see how it's inflicting problem on those who are not misusers. So all this affects the society. In fact, no crime committed without the contribution of drug misuse. Women are involved. Gender violence, men who abuse drugs, you find them in conflict with their family. Some even go to the extent of inflicting a hardship on women. Example, physical harm. Secondly, psychological harm. Drug misuser can insult his wife. That is psychological effect. Economical also. If he happens to be in control of her money, you can deny her access to her own money. So all these are problems as a result of drug abuse on women as a gender. So these are some of the examples.
What should be done to stop illicit drug use? What exactly should be done? How do we put an end to drug abuse?
Well, how can we reduce the problem rather? Because drug abuse or drug misuse is as old as this earth. So what we should do, one, sensitization, enlightenment. Let people know the consequences and sad end of drug abuse. That will help a lot. The NDLEA, the NGOs like our own, and any other organization should focus on sensitization. And not only government and NGOs, religious leaders, the imams, the pastors, should continue their good work, talking to their people. Friday prayers, on Sunday, the church. So let them continue their good work. Because, like I said earlier, we're all affected, not infected. As such, it should be a collective responsibility. Parents should be up and doing. Some youth are into drug as a result of their parent inability to do their parental responsibility. As such, that lead to this situation those young men found themselves.